First of all, hi, and welcome to UX UI Design Essentials. I'm thrilled to be with you on this journey, and it's my absolute pleasure to be introducing one of my passions to you today, user experience and user interface design. In this short Essentials course, you'll learn the basics of UI UX design, what everything means, how it fits together, and what the overall design process for a digital product looks like. This course will be taught in very much my own style of quality over quantity, as I highly value your time and want you to get the most out of this course. Just as a quick introduction, I'm Antony Conboy, and I've been in the business for over a decade. Having worked in many world-class organizations and running UX UI teams, I've seen a lot of changes and sat on both sides of the interview table many times. My mission is to help you build a solid foundation of knowledge and give you more confidence when making design decisions. Hopefully, this course will help you improve your business, kickstart your career, or just give you an introduction to the subject. So let's get started. User experience design is often referred to in the digital industry as UX for short. Why not UE? I don't know. Maybe the X just sounded cooler. At the moment, there seems to be a lot of confusion as to the difference between UX and UI. Surprisingly, many companies who hire designers don't even know the difference. This is why I wanted to tackle this often confusing subject first. User experience, UX, in my opinion, is best to be thought of as the beginning of the design cycle. It's where your mission is to understand in detail what problem you're trying to solve for your users. Every business, at its core, solves a problem, and your customers or users come to you because you offer the best solution. To understand this problem, there are various techniques a UX designer can use. This is all part of the research phase in the user-centered design process. Don't worry if you haven't heard about this yet, as I will explain in detail this method during this course in its own video. All you need to know for now is that it's a 4-stage cycle that centers around solving actual problems for users and putting their needs first. Once this initial research phase is complete, the UX designer now has a deeper understanding of the problem that his users are trying to solve. No design work has happened so far, just research techniques such as surveys, customer personas, and many others. I'm just going to quickly mention here that increasingly there are more and more UX researcher roles coming onto the market. So if you really enjoy this part of the process, you can dig a little deeper. We'll talk about getting into the industry in a later video, so you might want to check that out. This all then leads into a conception phase, where the UX designer will use this new knowledge to propose solutions to the problem. This could be illustrated as a sketch, a storyboard like they use in the movies, or some simple screen designs. The fidelity, which is an industry term for the level of detail, doesn't really matter at this phase. It's all about generating and validating lots of ideas. A great trait to have as a UX designer is the ability to take new information and listen to the opinions from colleagues. You really are the facilitator, as well as the designer. And your role is to help others from the wider team be involved in the design process. It's all about collaboration, and you'll have a much stronger result at the end. The next phase is to take the chosen design and turn it into a really basic layout. At this stage, it should all be about the content, and the simple design removes any discussions about any specific color, images, or font. This design will then be tested with users using various strategies and refined over and over again until the design meets the user's expectations. Once the UX designer is happy, then the wireframe can be passed over to the UI designer. We'll be talking all about this stage in the next video. Of course, there are many other tasks for a UX designer, and every company is different. I hope I've given you a brief understanding of what a UX designer is, and an example of what a UX designer might do day to day. So, in summary, user experience design at its core is all about solving problems for your users. It is the process of enhancing user satisfaction with a product by improving the usability, accessibility, and pleasure provided in the interaction with the product. You want to put your audience at the center of your world and design a solution that meets their expectations. As a designer, you'll be working with others to propose solutions to these problems and testing them with actual people to see if they work. I'm going to leave you with a great saying, which I think sums up UX perfectly. It's a Japanese concept called Kaizen, which means constant improvement for the better. It's what's made the Japanese car industry so amazing, and I think should be our approach in everything we design. I truly think it's better to get something out there in front of your customers and look to constantly improve upon feedback rather than wait for something you think is perfect before releasing. When you look to improve every element of your design, all the small changes you make, no matter how insignificant they may seem, compound over time, creating dramatic results. This will delight your users and in turn shed positive light onto your business. It's a win-win situation. Okay, this is the section where things start to get interesting. Our ideas spring into life before our very eyes, as if by magic transformed from the frog into the prince. Powerful visual design cannot be underestimated. The famous designer Dieter Rams of the Braun Company puts it nicely. Good design is making something intelligible and memorable. Great design is making something memorable and meaningful. User interface design, UI for short, in essence, is designing visual interfaces for machines and software that, like Dieter put so eloquently, are memorable and meaningful. Once the wireframes have been handed over, the UI designer can start adding in emotion using breathtaking images, vibrant colors, and exciting fonts, for example. A UI designer will use tools such as Sketch to create rich designs that are realistic as possible. Here is where all the conversations about visual identity happen. In the digital industry, there are many companies where a designer will perform both roles, but there are also many designers who are specialists in this area. A UI designer will normally have a background in an art subject, like graphic design, and some experience in a visual design field and be best placed to make detailed decisions on important visual aspects of the project. A great UI design can make or break a great wireframe. If the imagery is not right for the style or does not match the content, then the website will not be as effective. UX and UI need to work in sync. A choice of color on a button can sometimes double click-through rate. Imagine being able to double your customers by changing a single color. A powerful image choice can dramatically increase emotion and create a feeling of connection with your audience. When paired together properly, they can supercharge your business or product. Increasingly over the past few years, especially in large companies, design languages are becoming more and more popular, and consistent UI is being recognized as vital to customers' perceptions of the brand. A design language is a universal set of standards, usually stored on an internal website, where visual elements such as typography, icons, color schemes, and many more can be referenced by the different designers throughout the business. Believe it or not, many large organizations with several products still have vastly different visual identities across them. Even the same website can differ dramatically from section to section. A UI design language is at the heart of bringing consistency to this chaos. This will not only benefit the business, but customers, whether they know it or not, will feel at ease with this visual consistency. With a design language in place for 80% of the design, UI designers are now free to focus on every last detail. Time is now spent on things that really matter to customers that in the past have been neglected. Small design elements like animations can be added to increase understanding and a hint to expected behaviors. The whole experience has a precision that dramatically increases the overall customer experience. UI design is also providing vital help to a wide range of users. Millions of people have disabilities that affect them online, and it's essential that the web provide equal opportunities and access. By really crafting the digital products we create and taking the time to provide accessibility features such as larger fonts, accessible colors, and enabling high contrast mode, we can really add value to people's lives using design. The user-centered design process, UCD, is a project approach that puts the user of the site at the center of its design and development. This guarantees that the site will be easy to use and focuses the designer on providing a better experience for real customers' needs. There are 4 stages that include many different tools and techniques to help you along the way. The main idea of UCD is to achieve greater understanding of the problem by including the customer in the design process early and empowering you with various research techniques. Using this information, you can propose a solution that is simple to use and understand, and have the security that any problems with the design are fixed along the way through constant testing. The first phase of the UCD is the research and analysis section. This is where we try to really understand who we are designing for. I would argue that this is the most important piece of the whole design process because there are various activities here that can really help you during the rest of the project. Creating personas can bring to life your users and help you understand their tasks better. You can really include some detailed descriptions here, using any data that you've gathered on your customers. I really like the profiles at the website YouGov. That's today.yougov.com/profilesLite, L-I-T-E. Here you can type in any brand, person, or thing, and the system compiles a profile from their stored data on over 150,000 accounts to give you a great description of your user. It's worth a try as the free data is really good. Asking users questions through surveys can gather some useful information too. It's really useful when customers just tell you their expectations. SurveyMonkey is my go-to tool for surveys, as they have a great feature where you can select certain demographics and the system will send out your survey and get results for your desired number of participants. This comes at a fee, but it's well worth it if you work in a company and don't have any current customers to send the survey to. Another important task during the research phase is to perform interviews with colleagues and stakeholders on the project. This is really to make sure you're meeting all the business requirements and that everyone feels like they're part of the design process from the beginning. I found this is a great thing to do at the start of the project to integrate myself into the team and make everyone else feel valued. Once we have a deeper insight into the problems our users are facing, we can get going on the ideation phase of the project. This is where we can really have some fun and get creative. But before we can actually start sketching page designs, it's really important that we take a look holistically at the entire journey that the customer has to go on using our product or service. Most of the time, we're designing within a system, and it's essential to have an understanding of how everything fits together. When we understand the machine, we can design the individual parts with greater precision. Stories have defined our world, and they've been with us since early human history and can convey a message that touches our soul. To tell your user's story, we're going to use a process called customer journey mapping. This is a technique where we illustrate the entire process we're designing for. How you illustrate this is up to you. It could be simple text or it could be a wonderful color illustration. I find that the bigger the better. When I was working in a global company, we had a large industrial printer, and I had the customer journey map printed off about 10 foot long and stuck up on the wall in the office. This is a really great way to get the whole team involved. Just watch the printing bill. Probably the most important asset of a truly great website is findability. You create brilliant content and you want your users to find it. Unfortunately, this doesn't always happen. Honestly, getting a solid navigation structure and information architecture is the best return for your investment you can get on a website. A great description I heard of information architecture is the art and science of organizing and labeling websites. One technique I'm going to briefly mention here is called a tree test. You can find a great version of this tool online over at optimalworkshop.com/treejack, TREEJACK. I've used this at several large companies, and this technique has made the biggest impact I've seen on websites. The reason is that it suddenly unleashes all your brilliant content. In essence, a tree test is an examination of the structure of your website. You set a number of questions and participants try to find where they think the answer would be in your navigation structure. The brilliant thing about this tool is that you can test your most important pages, and if they do not perform well, the tool tells you where the users think the pages should be. This is unbelievably important because it's simple to change where the page is in the structure, and suddenly your page is now discoverable. If you're starting from scratch, then a card sort is the way to go for organizing your website. In a card sorting workshop, participants are asked to organize physical cards with page names on them into groups and give them category labels. If you do this with a couple of users, you'll start to see patterns emerge. A general consensus will form and the structure will become apparent. This can be tested with more users in a tree test. Your job as a designer is to be a facilitator, gather users' expectations, and deliver on what they expect. The importance of this cannot be understated. Welcome to my favorite part of the user-centered design process, the ideation phase. This is where you can go wild with your ideas, explore every possibility, and let your imagination roam free. This really is a creative extravaganza, and you can tell I'm excited just talking about it. The best way to start this process is to get the whole team involved by holding an ideation workshop. This really is the perfect way to get everyone up to speed on all your research findings. I truly believe it's crucial to have UX and UI be the center of the larger project team. Because we are designers, we can craft great ideas from around the team into something visual in a way which would be hard for others to do. Since everyone in the team has a different skill set, having us all in one room can create a great positive atmosphere. It's something really fun, and it stands out from all the other dull meetings that you'll have to sit through. Innovation isn't simple, and putting together a wonderful workshop requires some preparation. The main objective here is to focus the team's attention on solving a problem, and having the research to set the scene really helps. It's amazing what can come out of these workshops, and one rule is to not dismiss any idea. If you were designing a tool, for example, you could walk through the user journey, examine some personas, and then discuss the problem you're trying to solve. A first stab at design can be a timed challenge. I found this works really well at warming up the atmosphere and getting the team into a creative mood. The first session will never be the best, but having everyone explain their ideas and share with the team their thought process can really get the ball moving. Having further time rounds will help keep producing better ideas. By the end of the workshop, you can put all the ideas up on the wall and have the team vote for their favorite using little stickers or something. If you work in a larger company, this can be extended to a vote of the wider team. At the end, you should have a great starting point and something the team feels that they designed together, and I found this is invaluable in having a wonderful working relationship with your teammates. Another great tool I use all the time are paper prototypes. Remember when school was fun and you can get quite creative with paper and pens? Consider this a throwback to the good old days. When you start designs directly on a computer, you can get quite attached. Don't think it's just you, I do this myself all the time. When we work with pen and paper, it's quite easy to throw a design away or change something very quickly. I'm not sure if this uses the creative right side of your brain more than inputting on a computer, but it certainly seems to give me more inspiration when designing. The beauty of this style is that everyone can see it's not real. I've seen stakeholders sometimes get critical of a sketch on a computer just because it looks nice and they think it's a finalized design. When paper is used, everyone pitches in, and to be honest, it's just more fun. You can even go as far as adding some interactivity and be creative with multiple layers of paper. The next step in the design process I'm going to talk about is the detailed design phase. Having something solid to work on from paper is the best possible starting point. Don't worry if your sketch looks terrible, mine certainly wouldn't pass any art class, but it's the ideas we're worried about. Rest assured in knowing that any design, even the ones in the back of a napkin, will look great once UI gets their hands on it. For some reason, people think UX designers sit around and make wireframes all day. Hopefully now you know UX is everything else and the wireframe is just the final output. Okay, let me tell you a little industry secret. A wireframe is possibly the easiest thing to make in the world on a computer. The reason is that you can download for free or a very small fee online a whole set of components already made in any tool of your choice. I'll show you how to do this in the full foundation course. One of the reasons why wireframes look very simple is due to the fact that we want to remove all the design discussions from this part of the process. It's best to get the content and structure solid before adding in the detail. It also helps when testing that the users concentrate on the content and not the visual elements. I think it's also good to keep reminding people that this is a work in progress and any feedback is valuable at this stage. One consideration when choosing a tool to create wireframes is interactivity. Some tools connect with prototyping systems easily and others are a nightmare. If you haven't already, check out my UX/UI toolkit, which you can download in the first section of this course. It will save you so much time in researching and just let you get on with the cool stuff. Before we move on to the next section, I just want to mention, if you're interested in learning more about paper prototypes, wireframes, and other design tools, then check out my premium course, UX/UI Design Fundamentals. Here you'll learn everything about all these tools in detail. I'll walk you through how to plan and host a brilliant workshop for generating great ideas. You can find out more at antony-conboy.teachable.com/courses. Usability testing has never been easier. There are so many ways now to see real people speaking their thoughts as they use your website, mobile apps, prototypes, and more. Only just a few years ago, this was reserved for the big boys with state-of-the-art in-house user testing facilities. I can't speak highly enough for user testing, as actually observing someone using your product is irreplaceable, even if things don't go how you hoped. The goal of user testing is to get your digital product or service in front of a customer as early as possible. You then ask the participant to perform specific tasks and observe real-world usage. This could be as simple as opening a menu, or if you are designing a form, you could observe the whole flow. If you've ever seen a police interrogation facility on TV, then you'll immediately picture a room with double-sided glass, a team of officers listening in on one side and the interrogation officer on the other. Well, most user testing facilities used to be a bit like this, apart from the fact that the room was a little nicer and the interviewee was actually allowed to leave. Luckily today, there are ways for users to perform tests from their own home, and I believe that this natural environment for the user makes for a better result. No constant worrying about what's going on behind the big glass wall. Let's take a look at a few techniques you can use now. Probably the first test you'll perform, even before starting any design, is card sort. We briefly mentioned this in an earlier video, and I just want to give a bit more information here. If you head over to optimalworkshop.com/optimalsort, you can find a really simple to use online tool. Card sorting is a quick and easy way to design an information architecture and menu structure for a website. You can use card sorting to find out how people think your content should be organized and get the insights you need to make informed decisions. With card sorting, there are advantages to using an online tool and performing the task in person if you have the time. Online, you'll get many more participants and quantitative data. That really gives you a solid idea of how you're doing. Performing the task in person gives you an insight into your user's thought process, emotions, and gives you some real detailed feedback that you can't get online. The next type of user test you may choose to use is a really quick and easy split test. Head over to usabilityhub.com/preference-test to check out this great online tool. A split test, A/B test, and preference test are all just names for the same thing, a head-to-head duel between two designs. In this test, users perform a simple vote between two options and you view the results as a percentage. This is really great if you're choosing between two logos, a couple of images, or a pair of design variations. This will just give you a lot more confidence in your choice. If you're after a more detailed test, then head over to usertesting.com. This is a bit like the creepy room test, just a lot more comfortable. Here you can again ask participants to perform tasks, but this time you are sent a video feed. The best thing about using this website is that the results are back in 1 hour and the pricing compared to an in-house facility is a fraction of the cost. Usertesting.com has access to over 1 million testers, so finding a fit for your target demographic won't be a problem. During the design process, we always seem to think about desktop users, and sometimes we leave the mobile design a little behind. With mobile now leading desktop and tablet combined in market share worldwide, we need to be thinking mobile first. When testing any design, make sure you include both versions and even a tablet version if you have the time and budget. User testing should be an iterative process and not the end of the road. I've been in a full day of testing before where we update the prototype after each session to incorporate any important feedback we received. Please don't leave user testing until you have a pixel-perfect design. I know it's a little scary to get feedback and we want everything to be perfect, but I want you to remember, that's not the point of user testing. This is probably the only test in life you want to fail. Otherwise, you've wasted your time and money. Get designs in front of users as early and as rough as possible. This is the only way you won't become attached to your designs and feel quite offended when 10 people start picking your baby apart. There are a host of other techniques we haven't had time to touch upon in this section, but I hope this is giving you an idea of what's possible. If you're interested in learning much more about user testing or getting to know the other tests in detail, then check out our premium course. It's only available for a limited time, and you can do this over at antony-conboy.teachable.com/courses. Now, this is a lesson close to my heart. I can honestly say that the proudest moments of my career have been mentoring junior designers. The feeling of nausea when seeing your website finally go live, hearing someone give you a rave review, or even the proud moment of showing your friends and family your latest project, nothing comes close to the feeling of helping someone else. That's the main reason why I'm putting this course together, to help you. One of the catalysts for this course is that over the past few years, the industry has been through an explosive growth stage, and there's more and more competition right now for junior roles. It's harder than ever to get your career started. And if you come to this course because this is you or you're thinking about starting a career in UX UI, then you've come to the right place. What we're going to look at now is a few techniques to help you really stand out from the crowd. Attached to this lesson is a document that I put together with a not so subtle title of How to Make Your Portfolio Stand Out. Make sure you download this. It's straight to the point and gives you a few tips to make sure you're maximizing your potential and standing out to clients when job hunting. I've been hiring designers for over a decade, and I've seen lots of good and bad examples of portfolios. And let's get this straight. Your portfolio is the most important asset as a designer you possess, so it needs to be right. When researching for this course, I found out some cool things about the industry that after 10 years I didn't even know. Simple things like the terminology you use is important. 63% of hiring managers use the job title UX UI designer. That's how the name of this course came about. I'm pretty sure over the years I've heard at least 20 different job titles ranging from web designer, UX developer, information architect, and many more. Just to make it simple, if you're just starting out, stick to UX UI unless you're a specialist in either one. I've even been a senior digital application designer in my time, so let's just make things easy for everyone. When starting out as a junior designer, I was very keen on getting an internship. Luckily, I managed to get one designing magazines. Well, more like getting the coffee at British Vogue. But this kickstarted my career and led to other internships around the company and eventually a job in Wired magazine. This is a great way to stand out from the crowd. And no matter what anyone says, it's always an advantage to be inside the company when applying for a job. Now, when it comes to your application and interview process, your portfolio will be the main talking point. In this industry, it's more important than your CV and really conveys what type of designer you are and even brings your personality across. Because UX UI is quite an interactive discipline, it's really important to show that you're a great team member and willing to go above and beyond the call of duty. Design is a passion to so many, and this is your chance to shine. I always advise people who don't have much experience with large clients to let their imaginations free with a concept project. If you spend the time to give yourself a task of reimagining a large brand, tell a story, and really showcase your skills, then this more than makes up for any lack of experience in-house. It's important to remember that your portfolio isn't a huge dump of all your work. It's a platform to shine and tell stories of each project, explain your thought process, and really bring the hiring manager into your world for a few minutes. If you can achieve this, then you'll stand out. Not all of your work needs to be in there. It should be tailored, and time should be taken to treat it with respect. Make sure that you have an online version as well as a PDF for offline viewing, as many managers still print out your portfolio. The main thing that managers are looking for nowadays is that you have a great understanding of UX tools. With so many on the market, it's not vital that you're an expert in each one, but that you have a solid understanding of the main ones. Sketch seems to be the industry standard at the moment, so make sure you're up to speed on this. And don't worry if you're not. If you check out our premium course, UX UI Design Fundamentals, we cover this in detail and you'll be a pro in no time. You can find this over at antony-conboy.teachable.com/courses. When searching for jobs, make sure that your LinkedIn profile is up to date. This is where most of the industry hangs out, and there are lots of specialist recruiters out there looking for UX UI designers to place with their clients. When you start to grow into your career, you'll start to receive job offers through LinkedIn. Make sure if you haven't got a profile, you sign up now. It's free. And don't forget to add me as a connection. Just search for Antony Conboy and drop me a message. And make sure you sign up for the main job boards. I always find that Indeed.com has lots of UX UI opportunities, and check out LinkedIn jobs as well. UXHop.com is a specialist UX UI job site that I also run, so make sure you check that out and sign up for free. No pressure. And make sure you add fellow UX designers on LinkedIn and drop them a line about internships. You can always try your luck contacting the head of design departments or the founder of small agencies, and there you'll probably do more than getting coffee anyway. Congratulations on completing this short Essentials course. I really hope this has given you a good background to UX UI and made you excited about learning more. The subject is so rich that it's impossible to go into details of everything you need to know in this short course. For those of you who are ready to fast track your way to success, supercharge your own business, or even get an advantage above the competition, I put together UX UI Design Fundamentals. This is the ultimate course for designing websites and apps that your users will love. You can find it over at antony-conboy.teachable.com/courses. It's only available for a very limited time, so make sure you check it out. It's something that you won't find anywhere else, as everything I'm going to share with you comes from secrets I've personally learned inside the industry and my own experiences working at the very highest level. This is an exciting step-by-step 6-week online course that will walk you through the fundamentals of UX UI design and give you more confidence when making design-related decisions. When you complete the course, you will be awarded a User Experience Fundamentals certification. We're starting completely from scratch. You don't need any experience in design or special software to get started. This course will cover all the foundations of great user experience design, what you need, and go into detail about how you can use these techniques to delight your users and improve any website or app. When you enroll, you'll have access to Module 1 straight away, and the other modules will be released over the next 6 weeks. You'll receive an email when the content is ready. The course has been designed like this to allow you to follow each week and put in the work around your current schedule. We'll go over everything that you need to know about UX UI, and you'll be getting some amazing bonuses along the way. At the end of the course, you'll be confident, knowledgeable, and ready to delight your users or start a long, rewarding career in the industry. I wish you all the best, whatever you choose to do next. Hopefully, I'll see you in the course. You can check it out at antony-conboy.teachable.com/courses. Take it easy and stick at it. Delighting your users will give your job satisfaction beyond your wildest dreams. If you're almost ready to go, but just need some encouragement, here's a little piece of advice from Tony Robbins that I've found useful in my life, especially when deciding to invest in myself. There's no financial investment that'll ever match it, because if you develop more skill, more ability, more insight, more capacity, that's what's going to really provide economic freedom. It's those skill sets that really make that happen. Thank you, and hopefully see you on the course.